I'm Rod Haney, one of the principals of the Haney Hitting System. Now the message of this video is intended for working parents, single parent mothers, and grandparents of children ages 10 to 14 years old. Now it's common knowledge all children should participate in some form of physical activity. It's also common knowledge that there are many lifetime benefits for a child if that activity is being a member of one of their high school's athletic teams. And when it comes to deciding what high school team sport a child should participate in, when the risk of serious injury, the education and career opportunities the sport provides, and the odds of a child qualifying for the high school team are compared, baseball and softball rise to the top. You see, baseball and softball are equal opportunity sports. A child's physical stature doesn't impact a child's chances to qualify for their high school baseball or softball team. And since children don't all experience their growth spurts at the same age, this is important, extremely important. A child doesn't have to be tall, a child doesn't have to be capable of jumping high, a child doesn't have to be capable of running fast or bench pressing 250 pounds in order to qualify for their high school's baseball or softball team. All the child needs to do is be a good hitter against high school pitching. And being a good hitter doesn't require that the player hits home runs and extra base hits. All they have to do is eliminate the hitting of pop-ups and lazy infield grounders. If you want to fact check that, take a player's batting statistics for a year. Change the pop-ups and infield grounders that resulted in outs to hits. See what it does to the player's batting average. And now with the recent introduction of Haney Hitting System's DIY bag program, working parents who don't have the time to participate with coaching their child, single parent mothers who feel they don't have the knowledge to properly coach their child, parents who can't afford the financial burden of having their child enjoy the benefits of being on a travel team, and grandparents can be a child's hitting coach and prepare a child to qualify for their high school team. That's right. Parents and grandparents no longer need to be relegated to being only sideline cheerleaders. No baseball or softball experience is needed, and the DIY bag program can be conveniently conducted at one's home, and it requires very, very little space. And it can't be a waste of a child's time, even if at some point the child decides they don't want to play baseball or softball. The program is a great cardio exercise. It can burn more calories than jogging, it tones muscles, and develops great hand-eye coordination. Now I apologize for not being capable of providing you a complete explanation of the DIY bag program in the period of time you're willing to invest into viewing this video. So I will provide you an overview of the program, and then if you're interested, you can contact us with any questions or concerns you may have. But I would like to encourage any of you who are serious about developing a young player into a great hitter to find time to view this video in its entirety, even if you have to view it a few minutes at a time. Our DIY bag program is a condensed version of the bag program we use in our copyrighted Haney Hitting System for developing great hitters. The program employs the use of a boxer's punching bag. For the DIY program, a floor-mounted bag can be used. We also incorporate the use of a throw-down home plate. We place the plate with the front edge about 12 inches away from the face of the bag, with the center of the plate in line with the center of the bag. The program begins with having the player position himself at the plate as if up to bat in a game. We then have the player lay their bat out horizontally across the bag, level with the top of their strike zone. We take a red marker and place a 1-inch diameter dot directly underneath the barrel of their bat. We take the time to explain to the player the more bat swing power their bat delivers to the ball, the better hitter they will be. We also explain to the player optimum bat swing power is transferred to the ball when the ball's contact on the bat is within the middle of the area of the bat known as the sweet spot. We then place a 1-inch wide strip of tape around the middle of the sweet spot of their bat. We then instruct the player to position himself at the plate as if up to bat in a game and hit the dot with the tape as hard as they can. We do not provide any instructions on how the player should stand or execute their bat swing, except we do not allow the player to steer the barrel of their bat to the dot. We emphasize with each bat swing they need to hit the dot with the tape as hard as they can. From this, we are made aware if the player has any issues with visual focusing on an object within their hitting zone. And we learn what the player's existing motor skill memory instinct for delivering the sweet spot of their bat to a specific location. This instinct is the same type of instinct that provides a basketball player the ability to sink three-pointers from all over the areas of the three-point zone. The same instinct that provides a golfer the ability to sink 20-foot putts from all over the green. Having the ability to work in the player's existing instinct and physical with their physical bat swing execution allows us to easily hone the precision by which the player delivers the sweet spot to a specific location. This is important because the more surface area contacted between the bat and the ball, the more bat swing power is transferred to the ball, preventing the ball from slicing or spinning off the barrel of the bat, both of which produce pop-ups and infield grounders. In simpler terms, we want the player's 100% concentration on delivering the sweet spot with precision before we work on their physical bat swing execution. Once the precision of the delivery of the sweet spot is part of the player's motor skill memory, we work on eliminating other things that produce pop-ups and infield grounders. We do this in a manner that conforms with what Leslie learned while studying for her master's degree in exercise physiology on how an athlete should be physically conditioned. And that is, the best program for physically conditioning an athlete to perform an athletic skill is a program that includes each and every fully completed movement of the skill in the sequence it executes when the skill is performed. And hitting a pitch ball is an athletic skill. For example, the first part of the player's physical bat swing execution that we condition the player for is the development of tension energy. Tension energy is one of the major producers of bat swing power. Then we condition for the development of torsion energy, another producer of bat swing power. Inadequate bat swing power is one of the major reasons for pop-ups and lazy infield grounders. Another thing that produces pop-ups and lazy infield grounders is when at the moment of bat-to-ball contact, the ball pushes the barrel of the bat backwards, upward, or downward. This diminishes the bat swing power transferred to the ball, resulting in pop-ups and infield grounders. This is common among young players who allow their arms to extend away from their body as their bat swing executes. And in many cases, a young player's hands, wrists, and forearms just aren't strong enough to resist the sudden impact of the driving force of the ball. Now you can fact check this by having your young player lay their bat out in front of them and then extend their arms away from their body. Then tap the end of the barrel and see how little resistance your player can provide from stopping you to moving the barrel of their bat. Then have the player pull their biceps back to their body and hold the barrel, the bat, and extend it that way. See how much more resistance there is to your tapping the barrel. So as part of the bag program, we condition the player to keep their biceps closed on their body as they execute their bat swing. This provides that the player's body weight participates in resisting the driving force of the ball, once again eliminating pop-ups and infield grounders. This also develops a motor skill memory that curtails the player's urge to swing at balls traveling outside their strike zone. Now, if you're serious about developing a baseball or softball player into a great hitter and don't fully understand motor skill memory, you need to research it. Another producer of pop-ups and infield grounders is when the sweet spot of the player's bat doesn't make contact with the ball until after the sweet spot crossed the player's center line. Now, the end result of our DIY bag program is the player is conditioned with a motor skill memory of a bat swing execution designed to eliminate things that are responsible for the production of pop-ups and infield grounders. Once this bat swing execution is embedded into the player's motor skill memory, the player is ready to be prepared to develop the timing to hit pitch balls. Now, that's different than the more common method of training young players to hit, where the player is first challenged with developing the timing to hit pitch balls. And along the way, the player haphazardly develops a motor skill memory of a bat swing execution that results from the player swinging at those pitch balls. In many cases, a bat swing execution that produces pop-ups and infield grounders. Now, you can fact check this by watching a 14 and under tournament and observe the number of pop-ups and infield grounders that are produced. And then ask yourself, after 3, 4, 5 years of batting practice, why is this happening? Remember, the DIY program is for preparing the child to qualify to effectively hit high school pitching. What age does a child enter high school? As I said, preparing the player to be ready to develop the timing to hit pitch balls is the next step of the DIY program. We have the player position himself at the plate as if up to bat. Then we position ourselves behind the bag. We explain to the player that what we're going to do is pull the bag towards us away from them, and as we do, we're going to do a countdown cadence, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, etc. Then we're going to release the bag and let it swing forward toward the plate. This allows the player to refine the execution of what's commonly referred to as the launch of their bat swing, the development of tension and torsion energy. We instruct the player to hit the dot with the tape as hard as they can, as soon as the bag reaches the plate, not before. We do not allow the player to relax any component of their bat swing execution. And this is where we find it very effective to condition the player to produce more and more bat swing power. Because the player can feel and hear the increase in their bat swing power with every bat swing. And with each bat swing, we shout louder, louder, louder. Not only is it effective, but the player enjoys it. At this point, the player is ready to develop the timing to hit pitch balls. And every player can develop the timing if the program for developing the timing effectively employs machine and live pitching. It's just that some players require more time than others. Now, for those interested in a player being developed into a great hitter, part of the timing to hit pitch balls involves developing a quick start into the player's bat swing execution. Now, a common method of conditioning quickness into the start of a player's bat swing execution is the use of what are known as drop ball drills. Very simply, a person holds a ball in an elevated position above the player's hitting zone. Then they release the ball, putting it in the position to be hit by the batter as it falls. Of course, the lower the release point, the quicker the player's bat swing has to start. Unfortunately, hand drop ball drills can't be conducted safely for the inside edge of a player's strike zone. The location in their strike zone where a quick starting bat swing is the most important. because on their way to being a great hitter, they become a good hitter, and their frequency of brushback pitches they are challenged with increases dramatically. And if a player can't hit inside strikes effectively, the odds of them being a great hitter are greatly reduced. So for our copyrighted protected Haney hitting system, we designed and built our tailor for developing quickness for the inside edge of the strike zone. The tailor is also more effective than hand drop drills for developing quickness into the start of the bat swing in this way. During the hand drop ball drills, the player can see the ball from the time it's positioned to be dropped and when it's being released. With the tailor, the ball can descend from 3 different locations, and that location is hidden from the player until the ball appears in front of them, greatly increasing the need for the bat swing to start quicker. Of course, timing to hit pitch balls also requires that the barrel of the player's bat travels extremely fast. For developing velocity into the travel of the barrel of a player's bat, we employ our L-rod. Our experience has shown us a player cannot be a great hitter if they can't effectively hit balls traveling in all areas of their strike zone. Our experience has been if a hitter has a vulnerable area in their strike zone, sooner or later, opposing pitchers and managers will become aware of it and take advantage of it. If a player has a pitch they have to wait for, good pitchers aren't going to throw it. But the issue for most hitters is when they attempt to hit balls traveling in all areas of the strike zone, the first thing they have to do is identify where the ball is traveling in their strike zone. Then decide how to execute a bat swing to hit it. This all requires thinking. This is a no-no for being a great hitter. To be a great hitter requires 100% visual focusing on a moving object, the approaching ball. 100% visual focusing requires 100% mental concentration. Crossing a thought disrupts mental concentration. Disrupted mental concentration on a moving object distorts the visual image of the object. A distorted visual image of a moving object disrupts the accuracy of the timing of the moving object. Now, you want to fact check this? Next time you're having your eyes checked and you're straining to see the smallest print, think of something else. So for our Haney hitting system for developing great hitters, we developed our T-post bait, which allows us to physically condition a player to execute a single bat swing execution to hit balls traveling in all areas of their strike zone. This is where motor skill memory is extremely important. The player can concentrate 100% of their visual focus on the ball, then do nothing more than decide when to hit it. No thinking. The designed location of the ports of the tailor are in line with the post of the T-post base, so both are effectively incorporated into the player's bat swing motor skill memory. Now, we don't profess there's a right way or a wrong way to train a young baseball or softball player to hit. Just different methods that produce different results. We could pay a major league ball player to endorse our system, and we could provide you a list of players that used our system and went on to be great hitters. But we'd rather you use your common sense and answer this question for yourself. Does it make more sense for your young player to first develop a bat swing motor skill memory of a bat swing execution designed to eliminate the hitting of pop-ups and lazy infield grounders, and then develop the timing to hit pitch balls with that bat swing execution? Or first, attempt to develop the timing to hit pitch balls, taking the chance that your player will develop a motor skill memory of a bat swing execution that produces the hitting of lazy infield grounders and pop-up? And for your parents and grandparents hoping to enjoy the pleasure of seeing your young player with their high school baseball or softball uniform on, consider this. The graphic on the screen is Leslie's batting statistics for her senior year in high school. Now, since all children should participate in some form of physical activity, and baseball and softball provide great benefits for a player, we hope you will extend what you've learned here to other parents and grandparents so the sports of baseball and softball regain their popularity. If you're an individual serious about developing a baseball or softball player into a great hitter, we strongly recommend you view in its entirety video number 1 on this site. Thank you.